In this video, I'm going to show you how to assemble the iSpring RO water system. It's a 6-stage system. It's the RCC7 model. I have the links in the description below. First, if you want to watch my unboxing video, go ahead and do it. It's going to be in the left corner. The very first thing you want to do is lay everything out like I have it. That way you know that you have everything and you're ready to go. You don't have to do these in order, but first, find one of these valves and your pressure tank. Take some Teflon tape that they provided and wrap it around this thread in such a manner that in the same direction clockwise that you're going to be threading this on. Do maybe one or two, do about 3 times. Like this. And then screw this on. Sure to tighten it where it feels really snug. Next, make sure you unwrap all the filter elements, but pay attention to this one and the flow direction that it's pointing, because you want to keep it up like this. So that's how you would install it into the filter. Center them all so that that little piece is in the center, like that. Now careful, these are rubber seals that could come off. So if they come off, but make sure they're on. I don't think they should come off unless you're messing with them. Next, take the top, place it on like this, and then slowly try to align the filters in the center and screw one at a time. This is what you don't want to do. I wasn't paying attention and I put my first stage on third. This one's good. And this one's on the first, so I'm gonna swap them. So this is what it should look like, because if you would have swapped the filters, your carbon filter would have seen all the dirt first, therefore it would clog up much quicker, versus you have the sediment filter catching all the debris and dirt and rust and stuff like that first, and then your GAC, and then your block carbon. So make sure they're in proper order. If you don't think you have a good tight fit with your hands, you could use this wrench. Don't over tighten it though, because it is going to be harder to untighten it when you're replacing the filters. Next, we're going to install this membrane. Make sure when you're opening this that you're cutting it away from the membrane, because you don't want to damage it when you're opening this package. Don't take it out right away until you're ready to install it, just so you don't contaminate it. So the membrane is going to go in here, and we have to unscrew this. But before you do that, you want to remove this tubing. So to do that, there's this blue clip. Remove it with your fingers. Then you push this down, and then you pull it out. Once it's pulled out, then you can unscrew it. If it's tight, then use this wrench. You can lift up the membrane from these clamps, so that way you can get this on it, under it. Then remove it. Make sure that this O-ring stays in here. They do have some spare O-rings, which is good in case you lose this one or gets damaged for whatever reason, you have a leak. Then you take your membrane, hold it by this plastic piece, take it out, try to hold it by the plastic piece, and make sure you put in the 2 O-rings on the inside this way. And then just push it all the way in, and make sure that the O-ring is in there, and slowly close it. Now I'm going to use the wrench to tighten it as well. And I'm going to clamp that back in there. Make sure you press this. You put the fitting back in there as far as it can go. Try to remove that. If you can't do it with your nail, maybe use a screwdriver or a knife, and put this blue clip back in there. So this is a alarm. Here's a probe. Basically, when water touches the probe, it makes a connection and an alarm goes off. Supposed to put it down like this in a wet area in case there's a water leak or something. It's gonna signal, so you want to put it under your sink somewhere where you can see. So the main thing you need to do is you open the back right here. You got 2 screws. Put in a standard 9-volt battery back in there like this. Close this, and then take a screwdriver and screw these in. The system came with this paper, which has a very good visual of how all the tubing is going to be laid out. So next, we're going to install this under the sink. Take the faucet and remove the nut. Take the faucet and the washer
and put it on the thread. Make sure that the rubber piece of the washer is pointing down. Before installing, make sure you drill a nice hole. It doesn't have to be big, to fit in the faucet. In my case, there was a soap dispenser, so I didn't have to drill anything. After you put it in, there's going to be this nut with a washer that you're going to have to tighten it to hold the faucet in place. Here's what it looks like. Make sure the faucet is nice and sturdy. If not, retighten the nut. Next, we'll attach the blue tubing to the faucet as shown in this diagram. But first, you have to put the nut on the tubing, and then these plastic ring and this fitting that goes inside the tubing. And then you insert that into the faucet and tighten the nut. Take a drill that matches to the size of the tubing and drill a hole horizontally in the sink drain pipe. After you drill the hole, make sure the tubing fits nice and snug, and then take it out. Prior to installing the saddle, you're going to want to put this gasket type of material around the hole first. Put the saddle in with the tubing. Make sure the tubing is all the way in and hitting the wall, that way it won't make a lot of noise. Then install the second half. Tighten the nuts. Now when you put the nuts, you got to make sure there's a hex in there and that it fits right into it. Tighten the screws to where it's snug. Make sure you don't over tighten it. It is a plastic piece and you don't want to crack it. Lastly, screw in the fitting to hold the tubing in place. Next, install this white valve on your cold water feed to your sink. Basically, it will be between your shutoff valve and the hose that goes to your cold sink. Make sure you use plenty of Teflon tape on the connections. This will be your feed for the water system. Remove the blue clip and insert the red tubing. Reinsert the blue clip. Next, we're going to install the yellow tubing into the top of the pressure tank by removing the blue clip, putting the tubing in, and reinstalling the blue clip again. Position your RO system in the desired under the sink location and remove all the blue clips from the connection points that we'll be installing. And lastly, hook up all the colors that are shown, where yellow is from the tank, blue is to the sink, red is the feed, and black is the drain. And lastly, open all the valves, let the system fill for 5 to 10 minutes, and then test your faucet. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, leave a comment below, and don't forget to subscribe.